I've heard that Rovio is facing some difficulties and challenges now.
Yeah, let's say that I think we all go through, like our ups and downs.
Do you think is there any Chinese company can be your competitor in the future?
It's really, again, interesting to see that these companies can come, out of China. So it's not like one particular kind of place on the planet has kind of like a monopoly on innovation.
只有500万人口的北欧国家芬兰，却是一个科技创新能力很强的国度。最为国人所熟知的品牌有诺基亚和愤怒的小鸟。而开发愤怒小鸟的 Rovio 公司在09年创业之初只有12个人，几年之间团队就迅速扩大到800人。但 Rovio 也跟其他企业一样，经历着起起伏伏。那么面对困境和挑战 ，Rovio 的最新的策略是什么呢？ Do you have many cooperation between Chinese companies?
Yes, and more. And there's that's actually so Alibaba being one, but there's a lot of like other companies, and there's also Chinese companies have made quite a few kind of like technology acquisitions. So Baidu just bought Indoor Atlas. There's kind of like more and more Chinese investment into the Finnish startup ecosystem, because there's hundreds of startups just in games. So you have Rovio, you have Supercell, but you have like a lot of kind of fantastic companies now there. So
what do you see, from your opinion, the Chinese market? What's the pros and cons?
Yeah, so I think China is, of course, it's a huge market, and as we just heard from your Prime Minister Lee, that also there's a big focus now on making kind of like more consumption happen in China. So kind of like that's a very key thing to growing the economy there, and of course that's great for us to hear, because we have a lot of interesting things for the Chinese consumers to consume. So I think that it's very exciting times, and then again for us, as Rovio being based in Helsinki, it's super easy to kind of like get to China, like every day. So it's really nice.
贪吃蛇、俄罗斯方块这些经典形象正是手机游戏的鼻祖。随着智能手机的发展，手游界划时代的产物 Rovio 出品的《愤怒的小鸟》横空出世，火遍全球。生动有趣的动物造型，精妙的关卡设计，让玩家爱不释手。在中国，2011年手游市场规模已达42亿元，甚至开始冲击 PC 游戏的阵地。但过快的发展也带来了内容的雷同、制作粗糙等问题，手游产业面临整合与转型。
I've heard that in some extent, Rovio is facing some difficulties and challenges now.
Yeah, let's say that I think we all go through, like our ups and downs. And then one thing that we're doing right now is actually simplifying our organization. So, I mean, we grew from 12 people in 2009 to over 800. And again, what we're doing there is really making sure that we can move fast enough and do kind of like big enough things. So it's really kind of like to fulfill our ambition. So if you look at Angry Birds, we're not building kind of like one game for 100 days, but we're building a brand for 100 years. So again, we want to make sure that we can kind of like fulfill our ambition and kind of like go where we need to go. So again, yeah, there are always some challenges, but our ambition is still unchanged. So we really looking at building Angry Birds into a much bigger brand, not only in entertainment but also education. So that's kind of very important for us.
That's right. So what do you think about the online education games?
Yeah, so I mean, we have been working on our fun learning program. So we actually just announced our funlearning.com website, like last week. We're rolling out the first pieces of our fun learning program actually in China. So we started by training teachers end of last year. So we have kind of like a very comprehensive teacher training program as part of our Angry Birds playground.
So is the language Chinese or English?
No, it's a full curriculum for early years. So it's everything from math to English to music. So it's like everything. We opened the first classrooms in Shanghai actually this year. And next we're going to open in Chengdu, in Beijing. And we start with early years education. It's like, again, full curriculum. So we took the curriculum in Finland as the basis because the Finnish schools are known for being very, very good. Some would say even like best on the planet. So we took that as a basis, and then we kind of like made it more fun. So we combined Angry Birds and kind of like the Finnish educational system, and that is actually what we're now deploying, and we're working very closely with the university in Helsinki, the Beijing Normal University. So there's a lot of collaboration when it comes to fun learning and education between Finland and China, and then Rovio and some Chinese companies. So we are very, very active in education in China.
Some Chinese companies.
Yes.
Which Chinese companies?
So I mean, we're working with, for example, it's 1 to 3 daycare. So they are running some of the first kind of like Angry Birds playground, like kindergartens in Shanghai, and then opening in Chengdu and Beijing. So that's one of our partners. And then recently we started working with Alibaba on like the game side. Of course, we have had our like consumer products available in kind of like the Alibaba Tmall store for like some time, actually some years. So we have been in China for quite a while. But yeah, I mean, we are always looking for kind of like the best possible partners. I mean, in our education program, we're working with not only the universities that I mentioned, but we also work with NASA, we work with CERN, we work with National Geographic. In fact, we actually just released like astronauts alphabet together with NASA. So we're doing some, let's say, very exciting and maybe also a bit unexpected kind of like things. So we do a lot in education in general.
It really sounds very interesting and attractive to children.
So it's actually more than just a game. It's actually like a full curriculum. So it's games, books, classrooms, teacher training. So it's something that we've been working on for almost 4 years. So much more than just like one game. It's actually going to be many games, many books, many different things, and that's something that we have been working on now for last few years and starting to deploy it now in China. So China is actually the first market for us when it comes to the Angry Birds fun learning and the Angry Birds playground.
芬兰面积狭小，人口也只有500万，却诞生了众多国际顶尖的公司和品牌。前有诺基亚，后有愤怒的小鸟。芬兰鼓励创新，并有良好的政策支撑。尽管欧债危机余音未了，芬兰国家技术创新局每年仍拿出6亿欧元，支持2100个左右的研发项目。这些研发项目中，1/3来自于大学及科研机构，2/3来自于企业。获得赞助的企业约35%为创业不足6年的新公司，35%约为有成长潜力、员工人数小于50人的中小企业。
Do you think China is the one?
Yes, of course, and I think that absolutely, and I think that also this is a great example that you have Russia, you have China, and if you look at Helsinki, I mean Helsinki has ideal location for doing business in Asia, so it's really kind of like the startup capital of Eurasia. So so I think that it's and Eurasia, of course, like part of this new geography, it's 93 nations, 4.6 billion people. So that's kind of like the biggest market in the world.
You really have an optimistic opinion about the Chinese market. Do you think the policy is really supportive to the startups and creative companies?
Yes, I think that actually the key for long-term success, in China is also education. So I think that it really starts with that, and I think that also, your President Xi visited actually Beijing Normal University, where he trained the teachers or some of the teachers for China, and I think it was very clear that he said that the future of China really depends on the teachers and kind of like the teacher training. So I think that kind of like from a very high level, there is that perspective that for the future of China, education plays a very, very central role. And I think that again, if I look at Finland, I mean we're only 5 million people, but we created things like Linux, MySQL, Nokia, now Angry Birds. So always in China, I'm kind of like always asking the students that, hey, wait a minute, there's 1.3 billion people in China. Why didn't you create Angry Birds? And I think that there is no reason, but again, I think that there is a lot of room for introducing more creativity, more of a kind of like school-life balance. So as you know, the school days in China can be very, very long, and there's a lot of like extra curricular education and learning that you also have there. So I think that there is a lot that you can do in China on the education side to then long-term foster more entrepreneurship, more creativity. So again, I'm a big believer in education as enabler for kind of like the next level of success for China as well.
But do you think is there any Chinese company can be your competitor in the future?
Of course, I mean we compete with a lot of companies and also with Chinese companies. So of course there will be and there are already very successful companies in China. I mean, of course, everybody now is talking about Alibaba and like the very successful IPO, and I think that what they have done is very impressive. I mean, like they are definitely like a player with, of course, global ambition, but I would also say kind of like global talent, and it's really again interesting to see that these companies can come, out of China, out of Russia, out of Finland, like out of anywhere. So it's not like one particular kind of like place on the planet has kind of like a monopoly on innovation. So I think that that's something that we expect to see a lot of innovation to come out of China, and I think again Finland is a very good example of like the power of education. We used to be a very poor country 50 years ago, and now we've really kind of like moved to kind of like a new level, and I think that education has really been kind of like the foundation for the economic success, and I think that China is no different.
面对着游戏市场份额的下滑 ，Rovio 公司将目标设定于将娱乐和教育相结合的市场，而且目标直指中国。究竟胜算有多大，暂且拭目以待。但是有一点是确定无疑的，那就是教育是经济成功的基础。芬兰在50年前以及现在的变化对比，就是一个很好的例子。